Uh, Good evening. It's my pleasure to welcome you to the Thursday, May 8th, 2025 meeting of the Indian River County Planning and Zoning Commission. And we'll call this meeting to order, and we'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. So please stand. I pledge allegiance. Thank you. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda?
No, Mr. Chairman.
We've got a new member. Would you do the introduction for our new
Sure,
member?
absolutely. For the benefit of the commission and all in this audience, I want to welcome our new commissioner, Mr. John Campbell. We thank you for your service, and we look forward to a good tenure here. Thank you.
Good, and he is the District 1
Yes.
representative.
Yes.
Great. So the next item is the approval of the minutes for the March 27th, 2025 meeting.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The minutes for March 27th, 2025 have been approved. We've got one agenda item tonight, and it is a public hearing. It is the Sage Cottage rezoning. So the Sage Cottage Land Company LLC's request to rezone approximately 13.2 acres from RS6 Single Family Residential District to RM6 Multiple Family Residential District. Any declarations of ex parte communication for this? Seeing none, would anyone who would like to speak on this please stand and be sworn in?
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
And we'll begin with the staff presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the benefit of the commission and those in the audience or who may be watching on closed caption TV, my name is Patrick Murphy. I'm the Chief of Long Range Planning. As the chairman stated, there's only one agenda item on here, a rezoning. This staff report and all its attachments were prepared and will be presented by our new long range planner, Mr. Lawrence Andrews. And I'm going, this further ado, I will turn this over to Mr. Andrews.
Thank you, Mr. Murphy. My name is Lawrence Andrews. I'm part of Long Range Planning. I'm the Impact Fee Planner, and today we'll be going over the Sage Cottage Land Company rezoning request from RS6 Residential Single Family to RM6 Residential Multifamily. I'll be beginning now. So the site is located within the turquoise box on the map as seen in the slide. The area is to be rezoned to the rezone area that's 13.2 acres of the larger 23.5 acre parcel. It's located on the south side of 9th Street, also known as Oslo Road, approximately a half a mile west of 7th Road Southwest and a third of a mile from east of 20th Avenue Southwest. It's also roughly a mile away from US Highway 1 as seen on the map to the west, to the east. This area is characterized by mixed pattern residential, public, and commercial industrial uses within the Indian River County. Across the street from the parcel is the IG Recreation Center, north across Oslo Road. As seen on the zoning map, the subject parcel is split zone. The upper half is already RM6 while the lower half is RS6. So the property that's being rezoned is the 13.2 acres on the south half of it. The subject of this rezoning request is to unify the entire parcel to RM6. The property is bordered by RM6 to the east and RS6 to the south, and it's adjacent to commercial and industrial zones to the north and west. As seen on the future land use map, it is zoned, or it's categorized as L2, so there is going to be no future land use change needed as RS6 and RM6 are both permitted within the L2 area. RS6 Single Family Residential District within its existing zoning, it's intended to provide areas suitable for low density, single family detached residential neighborhoods. It allows traditional single-family residences at a moderate urban density up to 6 units per acre, includes complementary neighborhood uses like parks, schools, and churches. As seen below, the table goes over the principles of which RM6 contains. RM6 multifamily residential district proposed zoning. The proposed zoning is intended to provide areas for low-density multifamily residential development up to 6 units per acre, allows diverse residential types including townhomes, duplexes, apartments, condominiums, and single-family homes. Ultimately, it's serving as a transitional zoning between single-family residential neighborhoods and a more intensive commercial or industrial areas. And as seen below is the principles of RM6 zoning. The rezoning request is consistent with the CI future land use designation. The property has an existing L2 low-density residential future land use designation allowing residential development at a maximum of 6 units per acre. So it's consistent with the L2 land use designation. The rezoning to RM6 remains fully consistent with this future land use classification, located within the county's urban service area, providing suitable levels of infrastructure to support low-density multifamily development. Positioned along Oslo Road, an arterial transportation route ideal for multifamily residential uses, and there are no future land use amendment changes proposed or required as part of this request. Based off the analysis per Chapter 902 of the Land Development Regulations, there's a criteria between A to G, and we'll be going over that now. So A, in conflict with any applicable portion of the Land Development Regulations, staff found that there's no conflicts found. B, is it consistent with all elements of the comprehensive plan? Staff found that within the future land use, it's consistent with Objective 5, Policies 1.4, 1.43, and 5.2. Item C, is it consistent with existing and proposed land uses? The proposed RM6 zoning is consistent with the existing L2 low-density residential future land use, so no future land use amendment change is proposed or required as part of this request. In compliance with the adopted county thoroughfare plan, item D, staff found that it's located on the south side of 9th Street, also known as Oslo Road, which is a designated major arterial roadway. Item E, generate traffic would decrease levels of service adopted. All roadway segments within the area of influence would operate at acceptable level of service under a proposed RM6 zoning. Continuing the analysis, item F, subject to change conditions exist that warrant an amendment. The Oslo Road corridor has experienced increased development activity over the years, and along with the construction of the IG Recreation Center across the street, so it meets the criteria. Item G would decrease levels of service established for sanitary, sewer, potable water, solid waste, drainage, and recreation. Staff found that it meets the criteria. The applicant may be required to pay connection and customary fees. A more detailed concurrency review will be conducted during the development review process if any development were to happen, as the parcel is vacant. Within Section 910 of the Land Development Regulations, conditional concurrency review of the rezoning request based upon the most intense use. The most intense use under existing, which is RN6, 6 units per acre, would be 141 units. The most intense under proposed, under RM6, is also 141 units, so the most intense use would stay the same. Continuing the analysis, item H, result in significant adverse impacts on the natural environment. The total of 23.5 acres subject parcel is undeveloped. A more detailed environmental analysis will be required when the site-specific development proposal is determined. Result in the orderly and logical development pattern, specifically identifying any negative effects on such pattern, item I. It meets the criteria. The proposed amendment aligns with the comprehensive plan and all the surrounding land uses. Item J, in conflict with the public interest and is in harmony with the purpose and interest of land development regulations. Staff found no adverse impacts to public welfare and finds that the request aligns with the purpose and intent of the land development regulations. Item K, any other matters that may be deemed appropriate in review and consideration of the proposed amendments such as police protection, fire protection, and emergency medical services. All concurrency mandated facilities have adequate capacity to accommodate the most intense use under the proposed zoning district of RM6. So in conclusion, the requested RM6 zoning district is compatible with the surrounding area, consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the county's adopted comprehensive plan, is consistent with the county's land development regulations. The subject property is deemed suitable for RM6 zoning and is ultimately supported by staff. Recommendation is that staff recommends that the Planning and Zoning Commission approve this request to rezone the subject property from RS6 to RM6, or RS6 to RM6. Thank you.
Thank you, Lawrence. Any commissioner questions to Lawrence from on the right?
Got one.
Go ahead, Galvin.
There was an amendment that came out yesterday afternoon. I read it, I reread it. Can you elaborate on what the purpose of that was?
I'm not really sure what amendment you're referring to came out from where.
It was a secondary email to be
Oh,
amended and
okay.
attached to this
From us, okay.
agenda.
I thought you meant a law or a statute.
Yes, sir.
Yes, no, there was some typos in the attachments, the maps. So we amended those attachments to make sure you had the most up-to-date, accurate data. Some of the acreage numbers were overlooked, or the math didn't add up. So it didn't change anything materially within the staff report whatsoever.
I was just curious, because I kept looking.
Yeah.
Those amended maps appeared tonight.
Yes, absolutely, yes.
Yeah, everything's up to date on the PowerPoint.
table.
Yeah, the ones emailed to you by Mr. Sweeney are all accurate and up to
The table should be accurate now.
Anything else on the right? Any commissioner questions on the left?
I've got one.
All right.
Again, Patrick, do you have any idea when all this was zoned to RS6? Has it been RS6 for years and years and years and years?
Probably back to 1990 would be
Okay.
my recollection of when this
So it's been-
was.
okay.
I mean, it's been a different type of single-family before that, but at that time, some of the districts were recategorized to the names you see them now, but it was been single-family, at least this second half of the parcel, the south half. The front half has been multifamily for quite some time.
Okay, thank you.
Good. This is a public hearing, so I will open the public hearing. If you'd like to speak, either one of the microphones, and name and address.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. I am Rebecca Grohall with MBV Engineering, 1835 20th Street in Vero Beach. I'm very pleased to be here tonight on behalf of the property owner, which is Sage Cottage Land Company, LLC. I want to thank staff for the review and recommendation of approval on this rezoning. I think this was a good example of an owner working with the county to find a suitable arrangement for this. That zoning has been in place for a long time, but it's been under one ownership, and the parcel currently does have a split zoning, so this would simply modify that. Staff did a great job presenting it, and I'm here to answer any questions you might have tonight and ask for your support and approval. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Steve Meyer, 2263 Megan's Ocean Walk, Vero Beach. I'm not even sure this is the correct place to address it, but I'm a big advocate of having private property. I think home ownership is common good. When I see multifamily housing, this doesn't dictate or suggest whether it's going to be rental property or condos. I'd be all for condos. I couldn't care less. I don't think we need any more rental property in the county. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? And seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Any additional commissioner questions? On the right? On the left? Call for a vote?
Motion first.
What's that?
We need a motion.
Motion to
I'll call for a motion. Yeah.
recommendation.
Yeah. Thank you.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? It passes unanimously. Very good. Commissioner matters. Any commissioner matters? I have a question from a constituent for staff. And it's a two-part question. And one question is, are there any maps, county maps, that show the year of neighborhood developments? Is there any place that somebody can go to find out what year these developments were started or made?
The short answer is no. We don't have
Okay.
a map that shows as each project developed, what year it developed under. We actually do have a map that we've recently created that shows current development projects, those that were just approved and about to start construction, or those that are under construction. So it's sort of a working map. So as folks see construction, they're like, what is this? What's going on? There's no sign out. I don't understand what this is. They can call the planner of the day office, and we have that map readily available to be able to show what it is, how many units, what case number it was approved under, or what BCC meeting. But in a map with history on it, no, we don't actually have that, no.
And,
I mean, if someone asks about a specific project, we can certainly look that up and provide that information, but not in
Okay.
a map form, no.
and by current,
Chairman Day, can I answer that question?
yeah,
You can go on the property appraiser's website and go back by years. So if you know the property you're thinking of, then you can just go back on that map and see when it shows up.
okay.
I think too, if someone were to come in or call into the county and say, for instance, the project that was supposed to be built on Dodger Pines on 26th, if they were gonna call and say, where does that stand? You all would probably have record of what it is, how it is. and-
Absolutely,
Yeah,
yes,
it's-
yeah.
it's,
And even, to Mr. Lander's point, property appraiser is gonna tell you typically year-built information. But if you look at a subdivision, the homes are built over a period of time. So if you really wanna know when that project got approved, when it got started, one place is to look at the recorded plat, which is on the property appraiser's website. That'll tell you when it got recorded. Doesn't always mean when construction started. Sometimes it might lag behind, but we have all that information right at our ready.
Yeah, and by current developments, what year frame would that be?
Anything that's under construction that hasn't completely built out.
Okay,
So if it's gotten a building permit, or excuse me, a land development permit, if it's a subdivision to start construction, or if a building permit for a commercial development or a multifamily development, because those don't go through LDPs, we'll put that on that map, and we'll keep that on that map until it builds out. So as long as it's actively under construction, we will keep that on. Now, if it's a subdivision that has 200 lots and it's taking a while to build them all, we might take it off.
Yeah.
But we'll keep that on there for quite a period of time.
yeah. And his second question is, at one point, water management, the philosophy of how to manage water within neighborhoods changed. For example, the neighborhood I'm in is all open ditches that go to a lateral canal that goes through a bigger canal. When did the philosophy of having that big central retention pond, when did that begin, roughly?
That's a good stormwater engineering question. It's not exactly, I'm not the subject matter expert in it, but I know that subdivisions since about maybe the mid to late 90s have been going with more of a stormwater pond collective approach, rather than your old style of development where you had a house with a horseshoe swale and all the drainage was brought to the road. Then you had a roadside swale, and that eventually went to a ditch, which went to a lateral. That style kind of went out sort of late 80s. It was
Yeah.
right around the 90s when the different environmental acts started coming out from state legislation, as when we had to collectively treat this water, allow it to settle, so that the nutrient loading didn't hit our rivers and streams. So I'm going to default back to the 90s when I saw this development actually start to take place with stormwater treatment ponds.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think my neighborhood began in probably the mid-'80s, and it was probably built out by the mid-'90s, but at that point, the decision had already been made to go with ditches, open ditches. Okay, that's good. So just a little bit of background. The interest is that they're looking at, Indian River County was, when I moved here in '82, most of it was largely agricultural, and there's a mosquito species that breeds in there that's an excellent disease vector. And when they switch over to the central, it's a new species that's also excellent. And so they want to try and document the disappearance of the first species and the new species coming in and becoming dominant, so.
I would recommend that they contact the St. Johns River Water Management District either by phone or through their website.
Yep.
They've got really, really good records of when their large environmental resource permits were instituted,
Yep,
as well as they're up to date on all the environmental legislation that came out and when that switch would have taken place. Or even a call to our Public Works Engineering Division. Probably the best person they could speak to is Matt Soyka. He's been doing engineering for about 40 years.
Matt,
Matt Soyka, Soyka, yeah. Extremely intelligent stormwater engineer.
so that's at Planning and Zoning
He's
Engineering?
in Public Works.
Oh, Public Works.
Land Development. He's a civil engineer / stormwater engineer.
Excellent.
He has to actually work for the Melbourne Tillman Water Control District. He had his own engineering company. Man, he's been around. He's the guy.
Good, that'll get him off my back. Any planning matters?
No, sir.
Any
We will
adjourn-
have a meeting the next time around. It's going to be a very interesting meeting. I'm hoping to be able to bring our ear amendments before you.
The what?
The evaluation and appraisal reports, so updates and amendments to our comprehensive plan.
Okay,
I'm working on the report now, and I'm shooting for the second meeting in June.
okay,
I'm keeping my fingers crossed I'll be able to make that. It's about this thick of a binder that I'm working on, so, and it's just me, so keep your fingers crossed.
all right. It's so noted. Any attorney matters?
No, sir.
Excellent, we're adjourned.
All right.